Welcome to the Sportsline Podcast. I'm Andrew Damelin, sitting in for Bubba O'Neill. So excited for today's guest. He is the CEBL's all-time leading scorer, and he's in his first season with the Niagara River Lions. His name is Ahmed Hill. Ahmed, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank y'all, man. It's amazing to be here. I'm honored.
You're welcome for coming over, and we're so pleased. And I want to take a trip. I want to take a journey, the Ahmed Hill journey. It starts in Fort Valley, Georgia, small town of 9,000.
Yeah.
You mentioned on a previous podcast that your dad put the ball in your hands when you were 5 years old. What's your first vivid basketball memory as a kid?
I mean, I have a lot, but my first one, I'd probably say when he first gave me the rock, like the basketball. I was outside down the driveway. We lived on like a little hill, so I was in the street on the driveway. And I just remember dribbling, like a little kid just trying to dribble. And then from there it goes to like little leagues, to like the little summer leagues around the town, to then just me literally jumping off the school bus. I lived in like a horseshoe. So I would literally, my grandma's street was the first street bus stop. So I would get out, and she lived in the middle of the street. The bus would go around, and my cousin lived here. He was the last one. So by the time he got off the bus to go home, I already ran in the house, changed my clothes, and then I beat him getting off the bus down to his house. And I'd just be out there shooting. Everybody's like, how you change so fast and you shooting, you just off the bus? So those like little memories right there take me back to, a lot of things.
When I first watched you as a Guelph Nighthawk 4 years ago, that's my first experience watching you. The first word that came to mind to me about your game was swagger.
Swagger.
There's something cool and easy about the way you play the game, the way you carry yourself. What is the origin story of your swagger?
I don't really know. I kind of just be me. I like to be comfortable. So whatever kind of makes me comfortable, I have a lot of, I guess, styles, a lot of different lanes that I can go into. But it's just being confident in yourself, wearing stuff that fits you and, looking good on the court, make you feel good on the court. So that takes a big accountability into it. But, some people don't like the swagger. They'd rather have the dirty game and be really good. So I don't know. It's just a mix of both, just who I am.
So growing up in Georgia, eventually you moved over to Orlando, Florida. When grade 7, 8, you moved to Orlando?
So I was just down there playing basketball, but I moved to Augusta,
Augusta,
Georgia.
yes.
Yeah, like 10th grade year.
So you played at Aquinas High School. Absolutely dominated at Aquinas High School. That was when basketball was most fun, I believe.
Yeah.
AAU, Southern Stampede, that was when things started to get really serious. But when you were in high school, playing at a perhaps slightly lower level of competition, this is where you could really show off your stuff, really show how much fun you were having. Can you tell us, just walking into an Aquinas gym, what that atmosphere was like? Small school, I assume.
It's really small, one hallway.
What was it like being able to sort of play that free? I think that was probably the last time you were able to play that free. What was it like at Aquinas High School?
Aquinas was amazing. So I went to a public school the year before, my 9th grade year, and I think I had like 4,000 or 5,000 kids in my school. And I ended up leaving there and going to Aquinas, and it went from 4,000 to 5,000 to I think 200 kids. So that was definitely a change. I had to wear polos and khakis, but I went there, knowing that I needed to go there for education and be able to qualify for college and things like that. So I went in there with a mindset of just going out here, and basketball is going to take care of itself, but my main thing right now is just getting grades, So the basketball was just an outlet from, I guess, frustration of me in school and like studying long hours, taking 2 to 3 extra courses a day, like just little things like that, so I can like become better and make sure that I have no slippage when it's time for me to make the next step.
So you dominate in Aquinas. You also dominate on the AAU circuit. You were teammates with Grayson Allen?
Yeah, teammates with Grayson.
So he was obviously a very highly touted recruit. He went off to Duke. But was there still ever an underestimation of Grayson, or people wanted to go at him because of his appearance, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how much pleasure did it give you to, like, be alongside him to try to show people, like, okay, this guy's got it?
Yeah. Nah, so Grayson came. He's from Florida, so he ended up coming to play an AAU tournament with us. I think maybe 2 or 3 on the EYBL circuit. And great kid, great guy. Wonderful, quiet, very chill. And I remember we played a game. We played against Rashad Vaughn, I believe. I forgot where we was, maybe Minnesota or something. But me and him have a great game. Rashad Vaughn have a great game as well. And right after, he get a call, a text from Duke. And he like, he was asking like a couple of guys, like, should I do it? We was like, what? Like, don't let them come to me with that offer. It'll be a wrap. I don't even got to ask no questions. But, like, yeah, he was a hard worker, always in the gym, like, always quiet, always to himself, but great guy.
So he gets the offer to the biggest, most famous program, perhaps. But you got your fair share of offers as well. You got offers from Indiana, Texas, Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Marquette, UConn, Kansas. You said UNC and Louisville were also interested in you. I imagine this recruiting process, I mean, it starts when you're, 14 years old, something like that. Yeah. I have no idea how I would handle something like that when you're getting that much attention. Can you, first of all, I'm not sure if you listen to Ryan Russillo's podcasts. He asks people their favorite, funniest recruiting stories. Is there one that comes to mind that you can think of about perhaps a coach, maybe it's an assistant or a funny on one of your visits?
I got one from Buzz, my guy. So Buzz came to do a in-house visit, one of the first ones. So you pull up to my house. We got like a little house, and we stayed like on I won't say like his house is next to us and stuff, but across the street from me, I had like a house with a mini like pond or whatever, and they had like 2 donkeys, like crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And then next to it was like a church, but it was made like a kind of like a warehouse, but it was a church. And my mom, me sometimes would go walk across the church. My mom would go all the time. So Buzz came, I think it may have been on a Sunday or something, and they was doing something at the church, and he walked in, and he said, it's a church across the street. She's like, yeah, that's where I go. He like, you want to go right now? And I'm sitting there like, this supposed to happen? It was like, my mom was like, you serious? And he was like, yeah, like, let's go to church. And I'm like, no way I'm about to go to church on my visit, yo. So that was just a crazy experience. And on my visits, I took one visit. I took a lot of unofficials, but I took one official to Marquette. And great time, a lot of great guys. Funny story from that. I don't know if I got a funny story other than Buzz telling me it got to be now or I don't know. And like I wanted to go, I was like, I got Kansas. I got to go visit Kansas next week. And he was like, nah, if you go to Kansas, you're not coming. So you got to either sign here before you leave or I got to go somewhere else. And I was like, you my guy, so I got to go with you.
Yeah, you mentioned Coach Buzz is your guy.
Yeah, my guy.
You said you wanted to go to a school. You mentioned in an interview with Anthony Island, your teammate from Poland, that you wanted to go somewhere where you could find a father figure. Why was that important to you?
Because I spent most of my childhood, my teenage years, just me and my mom. So I just wanted to have a better understanding of, what being a man looks like, the business side of how a man handles things, like just things like that. I don't get close to a lot of people, so once, I seen how him and my mom interacted, it allowed me to get closer to him and, just want to learn from him. So it was never about basketball with him. It was always just about the feeling like he would come down, see my mom, not even see me. So that showed me a lot of, the kind of character he is. And that's kind of something I want to do, like look up to. If I was to ever coach or anything like that, like I want the person to, feel a special way. And not just me doing something for them, but like maybe people close to them and things like that, just out of the kindness of my heart. And I could tell that he was a genuine guy. So.
And he made such an impression on you that he left Marquette in 2014, where you had committed to go for 2015.
Yeah.
And you followed him to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, no visit.
You just followed the coach along.
Yeah, he called me. Actually, I was on my way to prom. It was about to be my birthday in like 2 days. And he called me and was like, I just want to be the first to tell you that I'm leaving Marquette. I'm going to Virginia Tech. I would love to have you. I understand if this is kind of crazy, and this is March. My senior year, I had committed my 11th grade year, so it was a little strange to me. He told me to call him back after prom. I went to prom, called him time I got home and said, I don't need a visit. I'll come out there. Just let me know when I need to be there. So
you became a Hokie.
Yeah, Hokie for life, man.
Yes. So you have a freshman season. The team isn't the best.
Yeah.
And then in the off season, you get some awful news that you've partially torn your patellar tendon.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is you have surgery and you end up missing redshirting your sophomore season. You've talked about how crushed in sort of your worst fears realized when you had a knee injury. So I won't make you relive it. Okay. So you go through the rehab process. You're feeling good enough to play kind of mid-season, but you redshirt the whole sophomore season. And I want you to take me to November 11th, 2016. Does that date immediately ring a bell for you?
November
11th, 2016.
We had a game.
Yeah. Your first regular season game against Maine.
Yep.
And coach puts you in for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think I had a good game.
You did. You scored in double figures. And, you know, I've spoken with guys like Dwayne Notice, who had a horrific injury in the bubble, torn Achilles and calf tear. He talks about coming back from an injury isn't even half physical. It's like, or half, it's less than half physical. It's like 60% mental or more.
Yeah.
And outside of the sadness that you experienced, once you're getting into that rehab and once you're getting back into the game November 11th, the mental side of things, how long did it take you and what process did you go through to get your mentals right to be back to where you needed to be?
Yeah, so that was a horrible injury for me. I wish it on nobody. But I was working extremely hard that summer. I wanted to have a big year, so I would work out twice a day, like early in the morning, practice, and then work out again in the afternoon, and would live like I was good on everything. So I thought I just had, a little tendonitis. Ended up playing in practice right before the summer, literally like a week before the summer. We playing we playing like drills and stuff. I go baseline, jump off for one, dunk. And it felt like my knee popped, and I was like, yeah, that's what I needed. Yeah. That's all I needed. So now I'm playing, I'm feeling way looser, I'm playing way better. I'm like, man. So then Buzz was like, I want to introduce y'all to somebody. So we sat down, talked to somebody, and he was like, all right, well, now we got pickup, we got recruits coming in, y'all got to get ready to play pickup. So I'm like, all right, bet. I turn, and I would turn this way, but my legs don't move. I'm like, what? So I look down, and my knee is just swollen. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, something ain't right. So it was like try to play pickup and see like what's going on. I run up and down. I was like, nah, I can't go in there, and I just immediately break down because I know something went right. And so talk to Buzz. We have surgery next couple of days, and then summer starts, and this is where the mental really was challenged. The summer starts. Everybody go home. Everybody around Virginia Tech goes home. Buzz let us go home for 2.5 weeks. Med, you just had surgery, you can't go home. The only one here. So now I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I'm a freshman. I just had an okay year. I want to go home with my friends, feel the love. So now I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every day to go do treatment and then come back home. And I'm like, bro, it's 5 a.m. Why can't I come in at 8, come in at 10? That's like, nah, you got to, work on your early habits, like stuff like that. So I'm doing rehab 2 times a day, to a point where me and my trainer, Eddie Eugene, I think he now coaches, trains for the Orlando Magic. But me and him getting into it, I say, nah, I can't use you. I gotta need another physio, like, cause we working out so much, and it's just so much, like we spent so much time together. So after that, I would go home and I would just lay in bed. I couldn't walk, I couldn't move. So I would turn on the Muse from Kobe Bryant. And I probably watched that movie every day, just in my room in the summer every day, just sit there and watch it. And I got a great mentor, Devin Johnson. He works for Buzz, and that's my guy. So I worked out with him a little my freshman year, but from that injury on, and that's why I was working out right before I got hurt, but that injury on came down, and he was like, man, you know, he felt for me, stuff like that. And I telling him, yo, I want to work out 2 times a day, every day, till I leave. Maybe sometimes 3, no matter what it is. So even that red shirt year, I would be in a hotel getting ready for film because I would travel. And I would be like, yo, Dev, let's take an Uber to the gym, work out before the game starts. So I'm out there working out. Sometimes, I remember one time we was in Pitt, University of Pitt, and I forgot my shoes. So I had the big Air Force Ones, not like the mid tops with the strap, like the high tops. And I was like, bro, I ain't got no shoes. And then he was like, looked at me and said, so what? So I was like, all right. So the same Air Force Ones, I'm out there just working out in Pitt. Everybody looking at me like, what is he doing? I'm like, I got to get it in. So that what brought me to the day. That's what the mental, Devin was a big part of the mental. We text every day, talked every day, worked out every day. And then that's when Nikhil was coming in. So Nikhil seen it, and Nikhil is a crazy worker. So he would be like, we would race our workout early, like 7 a.m. or something like that. Nikhil would text Devin like, yo, I want to get 8 o'clock. So then I text Devin like, Nikhil worked out with you? He'd be like, yeah. I was like, all right, well, book me for 2:30 after weights or something. So then Nikhil would see that, or it'd be vice versa. And he'd be like, all right, book me after that. So now we just racing to see how many people can get workouts. And then Buzz would be in it because Buzz would get up at like 4 a.m. So he'll lift. He'd be like, I'm up one on y'all already while y'all sleep. And that's when I really learned, like, to get up early and stuff like that. Because of him, he would come in at 4 a.m., lift, do everything. And I would come in at 8, and he'll be like, I'm up 1. And I'm like, well, I'm about to get my workout in now. He's like, I worked out 5 hours ago. I might work out again now. And then I was like, okay, well, then I'm going to work out again at 6 p.m. He was like, well, I can do something else at 6, and then I'm really 3, and you only got 2, and your body's not recovering as fast as mine. So that's when I learned about the whole waking up early, getting work done, like, throughout the day, and not trying to wake up and just put together a whole bunch of stuff and think that's what it is. Like, that's going to be equivalent to
working efficiently, working productively, not just working for the sake of working or not knowing how to work. And so it seems like you started enjoying.
Yeah, I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the process.
It's not just the games, it's that off-season grind that no one really sees that you find joy in.
And I came back early too. I came back like dunking, I think 16 weeks or something like that. Left 16 weeks, like windmilling, like all kind of dunks, no hesitation, jumping higher than I was actually. Just the biggest mental was just if I would be as athletic as I was, but I was more athletic. I worked on my shot that whole time off, so my shooting was better. So I really came back a whole new person. I could have came back in December. We had a player, Chris Cart, great player. We had a player, him, and he ended up getting injured. So we was down a man, and I'm thinking, I was like, yes, it's my turn. Buzz gonna bring me back now. Buzz brought me in his office, said, Med, we just lost Chris, probably our best player, all around our best player, best athlete. And he looked at me and said, and I'm not dressing you out. And I said, huh? He said, I'm not. He said, just because I want to win a couple of games and stuff like that, I won't risk your career like that. So, and that's why I always respect him, for sure.
Yeah, sometimes other people need to protect you from themselves.
Because I wanted to play.
I'm sure you did. I mean, you're itching to get back. You get back for your third year at Virginia Tech, and each year it gets better and better. You get to the Sweet 16 in your final season. You get to the NCAA tournament in the previous 2 as well. Your first, I think, Virginia Tech's first Sweet 16 appearance since like the 60s or something like that. You win the first 2 rounds, like I say, and you meet Duke. in the third round. We know about what happened in the Duke game. Again, I'm not going to make you relive the memories. I'll tell the hard part of the story, and then I never like having guests repeat stories they've told on previous podcasts, but there's just one story that you told on this podcast to listen to a few years ago that gave me chills. So I'll tell the bad part of the story, okay? So you're facing Duke in the Sweet 16. You're down by 2 with 1.1 seconds left. You're already hitting your head right now. That was a difficult layup you missed, okay? So you run this incredible baseline out of bounds play to get you an alley-oop layup that you miss. You're fading away from the bucket. I know you want to make it 100 times out of 100. That was difficult. You got a lot of scrutiny for that. You got a lot of adversity that you dealt with for that. Okay, so that was difficult. You don't have to tell that part of the story. The part of the story I do want you to tell us about is you're in summer camp with the Brooklyn Nets, and you are still getting reminded all the time about that missed shot. And there was a coach that did something in practice to really make you address it and conquer it. Can you tell the listeners and viewers what that coach did and what happened?
Yeah, that was a crazy game by Duke. I just want to say that. Craziest game of my life. But we in Vegas, we was practicing before the game, before any game. We had training camp in Brooklyn and stuff. So now we in Vegas practicing. I think it's our last practice before we play the next day. And the ball goes out of bounds. I'm having a good practice. Ball goes out of bounds. And I'm like the undrafted guy, you know, I get a little love. I get a lot of playing time and stuff like that. So he runs up a play, draws up a play. Same exact play that Buzz drew up. Same exact play. And I'm looking like, wow. And he looked at me and said, "You gonna face your fears today?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right." And what's crazy is if you go back and look at any Virginia Tech games, we ran that same play all the time, and it worked every time. And sometimes I even dunked the ball. Like, I even catch a lob, but it's the other side. So coming this way, it's a little challenging for me to catch my balance and do all this. And then I had a lot of variables that I was thinking about in the moment. So the stage was definitely bright, but we ran this play in practice, and they actually didn't throw the lob because the lob wasn't available. They threw a bounce pass, but I was going for the lob. So as the bounce pass was coming, I was kind of already jumping. I had to catch it while I was jumping and like do a difficult finish over like a couple people. And after, I felt really better, and I actually looked at him when I made it, and he looked at me and like shook his head. So that was something that I definitely needed. It wasn't as big as the lights was in the Sweet 16 or anything like that, but that was something that kind of hunted me that short period of time in my career, for sure.
I mean, that's a life lesson right there. Yeah, the lights aren't as bright, but just listening to that story, for a coach to sort of personalize that experience for you in that moment is to me, it's like a very empathetic thing to do. Like, are you going to face your fears today? And he's getting you to try to move on and try to move forward. It's a beautiful thing to hear. And so you had a great college career. You're trying to grind out an NBA career, trying to find something. And you go to summer league. You work out for 14 different teams. You get a two-way with the Charlotte Hornets that they end up waiving you a few months later. You're facing all kinds of adversity all the time. I imagine you've mentioned certain parts of your life falling out of love with the game and then the last couple of years anyway, you've fallen back in love with the game. Just that journey you've been on, I imagine, is there any part of you that's sort of thankful for the basketball adversity you've faced? And, the what ifs are endless. Yeah. Do I make that shot? What happens moving forward? But, I mean, here you are. You have turned yourself into a longtime pro now. You've been all over the world. You ever think, I don't know if you're a religious person, but are you ever thankful for the adversity you've gone through?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think that's who I am. And you talked earlier about the swagger. That's kind of the swagger I kind of wear as well. like, you know, life is adversity. You can't run from it. It's gonna happen. You know, you can't protect anybody from it. A lot of things happen in life, and my kind of thing is, you know, just take the punch to the chin. You know, you might fall, you might, you know, stumble or something. It might hurt a lot, but you just gotta keep up going. You know, everybody have a lot of things going on in their life, so you can't sit here and think the world's ending, which we all do. You know, we victim of it. I have a bad day and I think, oh my God, like why I'm here, like blah blah. But I'm extremely blessed, and I kind of always kind of think about that when I do have those moments of like, dang, so much stuff going wrong, so much stuff going wrong, but then look at all the stuff go right. I'm sitting here in Canada from a small 7,000 population town, so sitting here and y'all interviewing me about being a legend in Canada, so it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a word that my aunts just taught me: catastrophizing.
Catastrophizing.
It's when you think the world's coming down on you, and that's something that, you know, we all do, like you said, but you've risen above. And so that's the basketball perspective, and you're wearing a shirt right now. You got other hobbies. You're wearing a shirt that says Hollywood Hill on it. It's your nickname. You've always been into drawing, into art. What's the inspiration behind this piece you're wearing?
So this piece is the Hollywood Hill Volume 2. Last year I dropped my Hollywood Hill Volume 1. And it was kind of just like my alter ego, basketball guy, alter ego. And then I had a basketball rim on it, and on the back it's like all the places I've been to on a flight. So it's like a flight, all the times and stuff means something to me. The codes and stuff means something. I may drop them later on in life, who knows. But this right here is the Volume 2, and it's just like I went for like a little thrift shirty kind of vibe. I drew everything on here, so like I'm in a big city. I got money, I got airplanes, I got cars, you know, people talking about me,
people,
King Kong, you know, we just got different stuff, and this is just like my swagger, I would say. This is like the swag of me. I sat here and drew this, everything, so it's just fun. It's a really good hobby that I really enjoy doing. It's peaceful.
It's beautiful. And this isn't a hobby, but you were a father of 4. And you were your daughter who had turned it was her 3rd birthday. When she was on hand to watch you score your 1,000th points in the CEPL, and whenever you lift up your daughter for those post-game interviews, this obviously warms your heart. How much have your children taught you about the game of basketball?
A lot. Everything. Taught me patience. And in basketball, if you got patience and like you can slow down, you're the best player, you know. James Harden, LeBron, they so talented IQ wise and everything that they just play in slow motion. So a lot of kids and stuff, you know, when you look at a guy, he just flowing, it just means like he's slowing down. And if you see somebody out just running real fast, that means he's so much going on. So they help me with patience and just slowing down, taking time to sit there and think, and be me, you know. They love me for who I am, love that feel like I've been needing in my life. So I wouldn't be here without them for sure.
That patience aspect. I talked to Trayvon Duval a few years ago about learning the patience of the game, and he said the same thing. Like he was in a rush initially, and that's how he improved as well. And you make a perfect segue into, you know, you feeling it this season for the River Lions, because we got a little pack of your season high, 26 points just about a week ago, and you did it in a variety of ways, and it's all. To my eye anyway, it's all under control. It's nothing's rushed. You got a bit of a reaction after your tip dunk, but if we could roll that clip of that game, if you could just take us through this game against the Honey Badgers, how you scored in a variety of ways.
So I went the first half, and I think I had just one layup. So second half, I came off the bench, and I just wanted to be aggressive, you know. So
right on cue.
Yeah, I just wanted to be aggressive. So the first shot I took went in. I think I took another one and it went in. So after that, I'm like, man, I'm just rolling at this point.
That's my favorite bucket right there.
Patience.
Right there. You stood still for just a second, then hit that fadeaway. Now you're flying to the rim.
Yeah. See, now I'm in a good role now. And then shout out to Eddie for finding me. I had actually told Joseph, the guy who I'm hugging right now, we came down the first trip, and I was like, you want me to end it? And he was like, yeah, end it for me. He was talking to his friend. So I'm like, all right, I got you. So then I think Brampton, we didn't score, and then Brampton went down, and Quindary scored a 3 to make them 1 point away, and I think we are 2 points away. So we taking out the ball, and as we taking out the ball, walking down, I said, you said you want me to hit it, right? He was like, yeah, like, make it, come on, let's win. I said, all right, when I get the ball right here, we about to win. If I touch it, it's going up. So he was like, all right. So when I end up shooting and I'm about to go walk to the bench to celebrate, and I just thought about Jeff. So I turned around, and he was just, So yeah, it was crazy.
That's poetic. And it's so funny, that last shot, I asked Trayvon Duval about a head fake, escape dribble, 3 as the patience, and that was the exact shot.
Yeah.
These little nuances of the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm still learning them myself. I've never considered myself like an X's and O technical guy, but getting to know the coaches in the CEBL. I'm not sure how much time you've spent with Ryan Schmidt, who coached the Honey Badgers before, but certainly Charles Kissy, your head coach in Guelph. We commentated our first game together a few days ago, and I was just happy to not talk and have him teach me the game. And he's hilarious. He's sneaky.
Funny.
Like, your experience, 2 seasons, right, with Guelph under him.
Yeah.
How did he get through to you? Because I know he was kind of a hard-nosed-ish coach, but there's something funny, there's something edgy about him.
Yeah.
What was that dynamic like with Coach Kissy?
So me and him have a different kind of relationship. So when I met Charles Kissy, I was falling out the love of the game because my mom had just passed, and she was the reason why I hooped, So once that happened, he called me, and I think I had just finished in a G League bubble, which was not my best. I was going through a lot, and there was a lot of isolation, so it was really not good for me, my mental. But I went, tried to fight it through. Ended up getting a call from Charles after that, and he was asking me to come to Canada. Didn't know nothing about it, no hoops over there, and I was like, I know guys from Canada, and they would tell me about Canada, so I knew it would be kind of fun, but not basketball-wise. But he just telling me how he just want me to come and just be me, like play. He know that I have certain roles in the past, but he wants me to just come and like be the man for him. So, I took the opportunity to just go learn how to play with the ball, learn how to have my own patience. In college, I was never a guy who always had the ball. So coming over here, he said he would give me an opportunity to play with the ball a lot. So I wanted to, see where I was at with it. And actually, he's the one who made me fall back in love with playing basketball. He gave me the joy of going out competing, winning, being happy, going out competing, losing, being sad, then back, like finding the balance of everything, putting in the work of, grinding and working out and things like that, and then seeing the fruits of your labor. So, I always have a special place for him, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Coach Kissy, I had a great time with him for my couple of hours. He was like a really cool guy, and I'm glad he had that impact on you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the CEBL was kind of the impetus to get you back in love with the game. Since then, you've been all around the world. You've been to Poland, Greece, Israel, Germany, if I'm correct. Probably other places, Turkey as well. So you've been everywhere. I'm sure. Did you ever imagine? I'm not sure if you ever imagined, going this far around the world. But I had one question for you. Is there ever a time that you've been, I don't know, in some remote part of Poland, for example, on the bus? I don't know if the bus broke down or something like that. You ever look around and you ever ask yourself, what am I doing here?
Yeah, for sure. You've been in a lot of different places, a lot of crazy spots, different foods, different cultures, people just living different. I never thought I would leave Fort Valley, honestly. And I mean, I knew I had work ethic when I was younger. I would do like just weird stuff like run miles in strength shoes and stuff like that, like play basketball all day, but I never really thought the long-term goal of it. I just was having fun, and that's when you really having fun in basketball. We're not you thinking about the future and what it can do for you, but just enjoying the moment. So when I travel and be on a bus in Poland driving 5 hours to a game, it's like, wow, like I'm all the way in Poland. It's 10-hour difference. I'm eating stuff that people don't even know about. I'm calling my family and it's like, yo, what the buildings look like what the architecture look like, what, and then so it's just like, it's crazy to see that can take you to China and back in a couple of hours, and just for a game, you know, it can do so much for you.
And you're still on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
You said you want to play this game until you can't play it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You just turned 30.
Mm-hmm.
You are in a good spot, too, on the River Lions. You've clinched your spot in the national semifinals, trying to iron things out, I think, before you get there. You're continuing on. And listen, Ahmed, we just really appreciate the time you've taken to come into Hamilton, to talk to us, to share your story. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season and for wherever the rest of your career takes you.
No, thank y'all so much, man. It's an honor. Canada always have a special place in my heart, and that's why, you know, every summer I'm out here. I love it out here. Great vibes, great food, great basketball, and everything just getting better. You know, every year I'm out here, I have a better year than the year before. So, and that's just with meeting people, just doing things business-wise. So, yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me. It's an honor. I love this.
Appreciate you. That's Ahmed Hill. And that is your Sportsline podcast for the day. If you know an athlete, team, or event to promote, we want to hear from you. Smash those like and subscribe buttons and comment if you have something to say. For everyone that makes the Sportsline podcast possible, thank you. And we will see you next time.